Give Me a Reason to Live was actually created out of a project that I was invited to be part of, which was looking at the work initially of Hieronymus Bosch, who's a medieval painter and who the 500th anniversary of his death is 2016. And I was invited to be part of a project that was 5 emerging choreographers from across Europe to look at this work and make a performative work in response. And one of the earliest things in the project I was shown was a sheet of sketches from his studio. They were all of beggars, about 30 beggars, and they were all cripples and identified as cripples in the text, in the writing on the sheet. So all the beggars are cripples and all the cripples were beggars. That was the role of disabled individuals at that time. So either as beggars or minstrels really were the only ways of surviving. And the academic who showed us these sketches suggested, it's only his opinion, but it was really interesting, that they might symbolise sin, these figures within Bosch's paintings. And that instantly I was trying not to jump on the disability issue straight away, but I became fascinated by that potential reading of disability as being related to sin. And further, he suggested it might even be symbolising greed, which was quite surprising. In terms of the physicality that's explored, there is a real journey from what it is to be sort of pushed down or oppressed. When is a bent over posture representative of oppression, and when is it penitent, which would be seen as a good thing in a Christian context, And also, I guess, within the actions that I decided to investigate was this question about belief again, like Guide Gods, a question of what it was to believe in something, and whether even as a physical practice, what it is to investigate that feeling of belief. And also for me then, there was also the issue of, my medical condition is osteoporosis, which is degenerative. Although I've had it since birth, but the reality is that my bones will start to degenerate quicker. And usually it kicks in at menopause, but my bones are already weaker, so it will start earlier. And there was a question for me of, have I pushed myself as far as I could when I could? So knowing that my bones will start to degenerate potentially earlier than many other people. Where the work is a big shift for me is not only in the type of material that I've made, but also where previously my work really, I think, was about showing what I could do, and I've spent my life trying to show how good I am at things, is that this work is also showing what I can't do, and that the reality as a disabled person and in other marginalised identities is that you have to prove how capable you are, but also show your failings, also show what you can't do in order to prove your validity, or to prove the validity of your claim to the support that you need to exist. And that's something that I've not shown on stage before, is actually what I can't do. And what I can't do is stand for and also there are always questions around whether I really need my crutches. People are quite confused by by my capability. Ironically, this is not an autobiographical piece, but it's probably the most literal bare portrait I've made of myself so far.